Hey everyone, this is Kenny or Kent or whatever you want to call me, and you're listening to The Other Show.
Yeah, I should not have ate that spaghetti.
We watched you eat that spaghetti on the other show, and you were loving it.
Huh.
You were sitting there lauding how awesome leftover cold pasta is, and now you're regretting it?
What's going on, Spencer? What's going on
My
inside?
gosh, you were selling it to us harder core than communism.
Have you ever heard of just like communism, too much of a good thing?
I don't know if this is the right way to start this show.
Bread lines everywhere.
Well, listen, if it's garlic bread lines, I'm in, right? If we're talking cold spaghetti and garlic bread lines, that's my kind of communism.
You just described Italy under Mussolini.
Spencer, communists, the color is red, marinara is red. Oh, this makes so much, Spencer, it makes so much sense now. Even though Spaghetti Josh.
Are you saying the spaghetti's turning me communist?
Or vice versa.
Are you calling Spaghetti Josh a communist?
Maybe
What?
I am.
I don't know. I mean, you might be onto something.
I know there's a severe lack of anything noteworthy in the news, or at least anything that people would want to hear us talk about, because we're in no way experts about anything or everything at all at the same time.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing I feel qualified to talk about is the traits of cold spaghetti and Operation Paperclip. Kent, you can talk about movies. And Josh,
Good question.
Josh, no, you are like a freaking. I mean, Kent will back me up. I describe you as this all the time. You're like a freaking golden retriever, man. You could talk about anything, and you just get so excited and your butt wags a little bit that I trust you immediately.
See, that's how I talk with authority. But
Josh is
actually,
no butt wags. Is that what we're saying?
No. And it's not a golden retriever. If it's a butt wag, that is 100% boxer. And anybody who owns a boxer would know that. Butt waggers are boxers, not golden retrievers.
Have you had a boxer?
Oh, yeah. No, I have a boxer that I left at my parents when I got married.
Wait, did they know? They're like, wait, what? Josh's dog. What's your dog's name?
Yeah, Roxy. Like, and you spell it Roxcy, like Eliza R. Snow, because she's my great aunt.
No,
Roxy's
you named it.
name is not anywhere in Eliza R. Snow's name. Like, is R for Roxy?
Yeah, R is for Roxy. Roxy.
My mind is blown.
Yeah,
now I'm just picturing the old Mormon prophet Eliza R. Snow in
with
a
a
Roxy
Utah
t-shirt.
name. No, she has a Utah name because it's like Leigh.
Is she like the OG Utah name?
So here's the funny thing is
we need to get This Is a Place podcast on here to confirm
I know.
this.
No, we need to but here's the thing though, is Roxy, so she spelt it Roxcy.
Hate it.
Right? That's how she spelled it. It's a pen name though.
Oh.
The way that it was given to her was still Roxy, but it was Roxey.
Okay.
Which is a nickname of Rosetta, which is her mother's name, and which I found that out just a couple years ago.
And where does the stone fit into all of this?
Somewhere. I don't know. I mean, Rosetta, but the thing is doing family history with Rosetta, it's just one of those carried down names in the family.
This is like the perfect setup for next week, Pioneer Day. Maybe instead of talking about all the important things we were going to talk about today that we're in no way qualified to talk about, we talk about Utah history instead, which we are also in no way qualified to talk about.
Do people not want us to be condescending and inflammatory at the same time? Because I'm willing to be condescending and inflammatory.
I mean, you do have a trustworthy face.
And no one can see that right
true.
now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
and I am slightly inflamed after that spaghetti.
Listen, in my
you would be
in my 30-year podcasting career, where I have so many inside sources. There's heavy stuff going on, but we're not going to really go into it too much because you're hearing it from every side.
I will say this because I know that we want to go. There's many different directions that we could go here. But I will say something because I actually feel like I can talk with authority on this one. But This past week, a real, true friend of the show, can't say whether or not he ever listened, but pretty much.
Probably not.
But Richard Simmons.
Mm-hmm.
Richard Simmons passed away just this past Saturday, day after his birthday, which is
wow,
really kind of sad.
Yeah.
He passed away. Not exactly sure how. I think natural causes have kind of been thrown out there, but
Mm-hmm.
Is the housekeeper smothering with you with a pillow natural causes?
It's interesting that you mentioned that, because there was about a stretch of a 10-year stretch of where Richard pretty much withdrew himself from the public
Right.
eye. Mm-hmm. And there was even a podcast out there of where is Richard Simmons or whatever, trying to find him. And it wasn't until really just recently, and even more so recently, especially after the whole Pauly Shore thing came out, with him, doing this
just earlier
biopic
this year, right?
And Richard has been really active on Twitter, or X, whatever you want to call it, sharing stories from his career, telling stories of run-ins with celebrities, with the good and the bad and everything. And it's been kind of a fun kind of thread for me to kind of go back and read these stories, because Richard, and I'll get back to this at how where my connection is with this, but Richard, honestly, and I think a lot of people can say this, is probably one of the most sincere celebrities out there in Hollywood. And
he's not out there anymore.
I kind of wonder,
but
like, it's funny, like I've always kind of wondered that, right? Because he's always able to smile and put on a show, but also like he had to know that people were in a lot of ways like not outwardly mocking him, but kind of going, "Oh, Richard Simmons is crazy," but how could he smile through that, right?
David Letterman.
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, they weren't laughing with him; they were laughing at him.
True.
Let's be honest, and I will say this: David Letterman was an absolute dick to Richard.
Period. Yeah.
Period. Yeah. And it just, I hated watching him on the Tonight Show. Yeah. And there were other celebrities that were kind of that same way. But, and I think, I honestly, and I can't speak for Richard. I mean, nobody really can.
Right.
But knowing and being able to see glimpses of real Richard, when I had that interaction with him, and even other family members, my brother Ben, who lives down in Southern California and had a lot more interaction than even I did. Mm-hmm. He's very genuine. Mm-hmm. And I think with Richard, he has a lot of empathy, right? Yeah. When he's up there and he's talking to these people, to ladies, whoever, who's struggling with their weight, and he's crying with them, he's really crying with them. He's really showing that empathy because he's been there. And he came from a very abusive background, growing up and everything. And he was overweight. And so he empathizes very, very deeply with people that he interacts with. And that is 100% Richard. And I think it was hard for him because I think just in the vacuum of what Hollywood is he saw this duality of wanting to be able to reach as many people as he could, because he knows the personal hell that a lot of these people have been going through.
Right.
And playing up this charisma, this persona,
straight
to
up
be able
energy
to reach more people.
Yeah. And
so I think that's one of the reasons why he took such a long, back seat from everything, is because I'm sure it was very exhausting, because that's not really who Richard is, but he also saw that price and he paid that price to be able to reach more people. But I don't know. It's just, it's sad to see lights like that go.
Well, and it's interesting. Like, I do think there was a time when he was quite bullied, but I think people have definitely come around to those that were big when we were young, right? There is definitely a nostalgia play when it comes to figures like Bob Ross, for example, Mr. Rogers, like these icons of the time, which he was one, right? Even if you never sat down and watched Sweat into the Oldies, you saw the infomercial. You saw the shorty shorts. You saw him on TV appearances, and you were like, "Oh man, this guy."
You saw The Simpsons.
Yeah, you saw The Simpsons, and I think, I don't know. It's like maybe he did need to kind of go away for reasons, but I think people would have embraced him regardless. My worry now is that we will get a movie, like a narrative movie, whereas I would kind of like to see a Mr. Rogers documentary type movie about him. Like something that is as unbiased as possible, without being like hokey. Like, obviously, I don't want a Pauly Shore movie, like nobody does, but I want to see something that will actually give us the full picture.
Kent, how long after Mr. Rogers passed away did we finally get that documentary, Won't You Be My Neighbor?
Oh, a while. It was a while.
It was 20 years, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like 20 years. So, yeah, that documentary could still come out, but it's not going to come out, in the next 5 years because you don't want it to be rushed.
Yeah.
So just because he passed doesn't mean that documentary is not going to happen.
Yeah.
See, and I would love to see...
Don't be sad that something's over. Be happy that it happened, Ken.
Oh, my gosh. Thank you, Motivational Poster. Hang in there.
That's all Spencer is.
I'm just
He's so motivational.
Richard.
I swear he's just reading it from like a note card.
Sure.
But no, like I honestly though, like it would be interesting even in the aspect of I would love even just a documentary of people who were impacted by him. Because I know, I was. When I first met him, when was this? 14, 15 years ago. Mm-hmm. I had just lost 100 pounds.
Wow.
And we were down there visiting my brother. We decided to go because he used to do studio workouts down in his studio in Beverly Hills called Richard Simmons Studio.
Stop it.
Yeah.
That's the best thing ever. Okay.
It was awesome. So he would do he would do two different kinds of workouts. He would have one that was specifically for people who felt uncomfortable, working out, if they were overweight, whatever.
Yeah.
And then he would also just do one for anybody who wanted to come. And, fitness gurus and everybody would just come for those. And it was so funny because it was two different kind of energies, right? Mm-hmm. The one, he would just go and I kind of call it late night Richard because it was the craziness that people expected from him, right?
Okay, yeah.
And he would sit there and when you're working out and you're doing, your little workout, he would come and he'd stand right in front of you and he'd start blowing like spit bubbles, just right in front of you. And then he's like, "What are you doing? What the F are you doing?" And just profane and just loud. And,
all right.
He's like, "You call that a workout?" But
so he's being like, a boot camp, like a drill sergeant, but at the same time, honestly, really caring about people's improvement, right?
Oh yes, yeah, exactly. Yeah. This was obviously the everybody's invited. This is the late night Richard, right?
Yeah.
But then everybody got kind of I hate saying infomercial because I feel like that's kind of
late night Richard. That's what we do sometimes.
Spencer,
kids are in bed.
It's called
Spencer.
It's called the other show.
No,
but it was really fun because my aunt, who was always a big advocate of me and very protective of me. Mm-hmm. And that's a story for another day. But she actually was the one who told Richard that I had just lost 100 pounds and everything. And I was kind of shy about it, which, me and shy, some people kind of don't understand that goes together. But so in the middle of the class, Richard spotlights me. And then he started slow clapping me as he's crying. And he's like, "Oh," and he's like, he just like, "What did you do? Where did you start?" And I'm like, "I started with me." He's like, "Oh," and he just starts crying. and just, it was, but then after the class ended, he spent 45 minutes with our whole family. Just one-on-one, taking pictures, laughing, sending videos to other family members who weren't there,
Josh,
scaring the children. It was fun.
It was with your whole family. So was it one-on-one or was it one-on-one?
Yeah.
One times 15. But no, it just
one.
But I think that just speaks to the person that Richard is, and it's just, I don't know. It's just been an interesting week because it's been one of emotion. I think many other people have passed away in Hollywood. Shannon Doherty,
Shelley Duvall bed at night.
It's been
Dr. Rue bedtime stories.
Without going into details, I've experienced a tragedy in the past 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. We've had several listeners and friends, really actually friends, lose close loved ones. And it's and then obviously celebrities, maybe people we knew, maybe people we didn't. And then, and other things that almost happened. It's been a really tragic time. And I think we all just need a freaking hug, right? It's just like
We do.
Like, we all just need to come together and do some weird big group cuddle spooning session or something, because that takes it too far. Sorry, everybody. We need to hug everybody.
Yeah, HR is in the room, Kent.
It's just everyone freaking needs it. Yeah.
Kent needs a hug. Kent needs a snuggle. A group snuggle.
I need to be spooned, everybody. I've never been the small spoon.
Okay. Kent, we're going to have an HR appropriate side hug. No more, where hands can see.
Uh-huh.
And then once the show is over, then we can spoon. But it's got to be off company hours.
I'll allow it. Yeah, yes, please. But like, seriously, if people are struggling out there, if you're going through something, we're here to for you to reach out to. I had a lot of people reach out to me. I know, Josh, even with your relationship with Richard, it's like people reached out and they said, very sweet things, and it means a lot.
It does.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's so easy for us to get lost in the noise, and
which is life,
chaotic noise of life. Yeah, but there are times where we just need to stop in our tracks, and we need to just pay attention to what's around us and acknowledge that, right? Whatever it is, good, bad, ugly, group hug, whatever. And that's kind of how I feel right now. Like, I just feel like we just need to give each other a hug.
It totally. And I feel like... Oh, go ahead, Spencer.
I was just going to say, here's the thing is, I know I'm the snarky one on the show, and I like to
poke
the bear a lot.
Yeah.
No.
Wow.
But seriously, if you see any of us in the street, give us a hug. If you feel like you need a hug, give us a hug.
But only if we're in the street.
Where others can see you and we can see your hands at all times. But really, we're there for you.
Yeah.
And I think when someone that is well known passes away, it does make us kind of, even if we didn't know this person, remember, you kind of think thematically, especially someone like a Mr. Rogers or now a Richard Simmons, you kind of say, well, how do they live their life? Is it any way to emulate, or are they just another basic celebrity who let their life fall apart? I think, honestly, from what you're saying, is this is someone who was big, had a lot of influence, and probably didn't need to know anyone, did well enough, but he specifically, genuinely cared about the specific people he met. And I think that's what's really important for all of us to remember, is like, give like quality time to those that we may not even know, but that have our attention at that moment. Be present with that person.
Well, and there are so many accounts, even on the whole Twitter thread that Richard would share, where he talks about people that he'd met and everything, and where he would tell the camera people, like, go back to the car, turn off the cameras, and then he'd spend like another hour or so with a lot of these people. And that's how, honestly, that's how we should all be living our lives. Like, it doesn't matter what gets seen on camera or heard behind a mic. That's not how we should live a life, right? And I think for me especially, Richard was a great example of that. And
like, honestly, like,
emulate that.
Yeah, truly. And we brought this up before we started recording. He is responsible for 6 of the funniest minutes that have been on TV. And I've been watching him I watched it twice on Twitter over the past couple of days.
Dude, yeah.
That scene is from Whose Line Is It Anyway? And
dude, and honestly, I'm putting that in the show notes.
Oh, please do.
I'm putting a link because
Spencer, you seen it?
Too.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you think I watched when I was homesick?
Oh, yeah.
Price is Right, like everybody else.
Price is Right, Maury Povich.
No, it was either... No, it was Whose Line Is It Anyway or Fiddler on the Roof.
Repeatedly?
No.
I watch Passions all the time, and then...
That explains a lot.
Passions, then Days, and then Maury Povich. I was really dramatic as a kid.
Whose Line Is It Anyway? And Fiddler on the Roof. I can still quote Fiddler on the Roof to this day. You name any line, I can tell you where it happened, when it happened, who they're talking to.
Really? Okay, give us a Tevye monologue. Talking to his wife.
Oh, this is my favorite. This is
go on.
Right before the scene, the graveyard dream sequence where he's lying to his wife to convince her that his daughter shouldn't marry the butcher Laser Wolf.
Yeah.
But should marry the tailor Malakam Zoy.
Okay.
And she says, Grandmother Seitel? You saw Grandmother Seitel? How did she look? Well, for a woman who's been dead for 20 years, not bad.
So you're, as a kid, you're memorizing like exact inflections and accents.
Oh yeah. I went as Tevye.
I wouldn't expect anything less.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Wait, you've
It's
been
one of my
Tevye for Halloween?
costumes. Oh, absolutely.
I respect that.
Not to change subjects here, but here is my favorite piece of Fiddler on the Roof trivia. Richard Jewson was the director.
Producer? Okay.
of Fiddler on the
Director,
Roof.
okay.
No, he
Mhm.
was a director. The
Okay.
producers wanted an all Jewish cast and crew.
Okay.
The only one that was not Jewish was the director, Richard Jewson. They hired him because his name was Jewson and they assumed he was a Jew.
Oh,
He's
no.
actually Catholic. Was Catholic. He died last year.
Oh, that's kind of great.
And then they have a unique look to the whole film
Yeah.
where it looks kind of grainy and brown. You know how they achieved that, right?
No, go on.
They put a woman's nylon over the lens.
Huh.
So if you look at it in the 4K or even the 1080p
Yeah.
Blu-ray versions, you can actually kind of make out
Like the netting?
the stitching pattern. the
What?
netting, yeah.
Okay. I'm rewatching that for the first time in a long time then on 4K for some reason.
I love that movie.
Kenny just wants to see women's nylons. That's why.
It's been a minute.
The butcher is a wolf. I
Wait.
give her 3 days. And after 3 days, I come into her house. I come in the night.
You know what we should do? We should just have let's rent out a theater
Okay.
and we can just have a one-man show, a Fiddler on the Roof, and we'll just have Spencer up there giving us the whole monologue.
Oh, you know what? Huge shout out and congratulations, by the way, to my brother Taylor. He just got engaged.
Yeah, honestly.
We should have
Mazel tov.
the other bachelor party, and that's what we do. We rent out a theater and have Taylor and me act out all of
'Cause
Fiddler on the Roof. For
Taylor
everybody.
could do it too.
Oh yeah, any of the Myers.
And hold
brothers
on.
can.
That's your bachelor party? Are we going to have wings and you're doing Fiddler on the Roof?
Yeah.
Or should we do like lock keys and
We're going to keep this Myers friendly, but we'll keep it kosher. We'll have dirty sodas and Hebrew nationals.
This would make your homeschool teacher so proud. I feel like you should invite them as well.
You know what? I would invite them, but I ran unopposed for homecoming king and queen, and I still lost to my mom.
weird.
I'm pretty sure the principal was rigging the ballots.
You want to take your mom to prom?
Appropriate as that, the principal went out with the prom queen.
It's just got really weird.
Yeah, a little bit.
Hey, speaking of Little Richards,
Oh no.
Kent, you have Am I the Richard?
Yes,
stories,
I do. I'm going to make you choose. I saved a couple from the other week, but I have two that Josh, once again,
Okay.
as always, you're going to spin the wheel / choose purposely / randomly. Okay. So your options are, let's see. Oh man, I want to find the other ones too, but I'll save them for another time.
You know
Gender.
what?
Yeah.
I do have not a USB drive, but an actual 3-sided die or a 4-sided die
Okay.
here that I can roll in my one ring. You can see
Okay. Yeah.
the other show and tell
Yeah.
for Instagram. We can drop this on Instagram. The die.
So
I
you're
can
saying
roll.
we actually have a real die.
Yeah. And we can choose which one we do.
If it's even, we're going to go with gender reveal. If it's odd,
Okay.
we're going to do, I know that I went backwards on that. We're going to do shared room.
Okay, ready? All right. I'm going to do the claw to pick it up so you know I'm not like
Okay.
messing it up, okay? Claw.
Claw. Here we go. I mean,
Two.
this feels,
That is a 2.
okay, so it's even. So we're going gender reveal. Okay.
All right.
It's a little bit long, as always, so bear with me and read it. Okay, here we go. Am I the Richard for ruining my own gender reveal party? That's the title. I'm pregnant with a baby boy due in November, right? There's a spoiler alert. Pregnant with a baby boy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, I'm still confused. She said my own gender reveal party. Was she revealing the gender of the baby or her gender?
The gender of the baby. Because, yeah.
I'm pretty sure there was not
You
an.
gotta be specific these days.
I'm pretty sure that there was not a not safe for work sticker on this one on Reddit.
Yeah, probably not. So my fiance and I didn't care much about the sex of our child, so we didn't make too much noise about it once we found out. The only people we'd informed were our parents, their partners, and our siblings. Prior to this, my father's girlfriend of 3 years had been asking me about my plans for a gender reveal party. I've always been clear about not wanting one. When I announced my son's gender to them, she expressed disappointment that I hadn't changed my mind about a party. So, keep in mind, she's throwing this out there. I don't want a party. It's a boy. So I don't like gender reveals. Never have, never will. I prefer baby showers, which I think feel more... Anyways, bad grammar, which I think feel more about the actual child. Oh, it's more about the actual child. I never try to hide that opinion either. Days later, my father's girlfriend invited me over for tea at their apartment. My dad was out of town. When I got there, about a dozen people...
She must be British.
Right. Come over for a spot of tea. So when I got there, about a dozen people popped out of hiding to surprise me. There were pink and blue decorations everywhere, which made what was going on pretty clear. As I stood there in shock, my father's girlfriend excitedly told me they were throwing me a surprise gender reveal party. Since I already told her, she had taken it upon herself to order a cake with colorful frosting, decorate the apartment, and invite a bunch of guests, a bunch of people over. The guests included her mother, whom I don't get along with, some of her friends, my mother-in-law, and 4 of my friends. And by the way, her mom wasn't invited. As I later found out, my mother-in-law and friends had been told I changed my mind about gender reveals. So this father's girlfriend is speaking for her, saying, yeah, she said she never liked him, but she likes him now, so come over for this party. I had not changed my mind. Still in the doorway, I looked over everyone and said, it's a boy. You guys can go home now. I left without looking back. So they have the party. They're all surprised. They have pink and blue everything. She says, it's a boy. You guys can go home now. Hours later, my father called me furious that I ruined the party. He said his girlfriend had put a lot of effort, money, and love into planning it, and I should have shown respect and gratitude for it. Apparently, she hadn't stopped crying since I left. It's been almost a week, and they're both still upset. Even after I explained I never wanted that party in the first place, they're insisting I could have at least sucked it up for an hour, or at least cut the cake. Am I the Richard?
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Reasons? Go on.
Well, she didn't want it. And that should be your choice. And it should be your choice if she wants to ruin the gender reveal anyway, plus the reaction from her parents or from her dad. Is a little authoritative, right? Suck it up, just do it. Which generally I'm for most things, I'm kind of that way. Okay, I'll just suck this up. But this is a big thing because that's her decision to reveal the gender, whether or not she wants to. So I don't know. Plus putting that much time and effort knowing and then lying to the guests.
Yeah. And I guess I don't really know. I don't know much about gender reveal parties outside of social media because they seem like something that people do for show, right? It's a big to do.
Oh,
and for people that do them and love them, cool, good on you. But I don't know why this the father's girlfriend would make a big party when it was just private and she already knew the gender, other than saying, "Oh, I saw it on social media and it looked fun."
I am so besides myself because depending on the situation, I would tend to say just go with the flow for a little bit. But in this case where she had made her position really, really clear, and it's for her dad's girlfriend, not her mom, not her partner. If it was her partner who did this, suck it up because it's theirs too. They want to do that, be a part of it. And then you can have a conversation afterwards. But I don't blame her reaction at all to be like, it's a boy, you can go home now. You can still party. You can still do all the things you want. I'm just not going to be a part of it because I made it very clear where my boundaries were beforehand. And I'm going to stick with my boundaries.
Right. Okay. I think we're all in agreement. And also Reddit agrees with us. Per usual. We're just common sense over here.
See,
speaking of gender reveals.
Oh, I was just going to say, though, just really quick before you transition to something better. But... gender reveals,
where are you going with that, Ken or Josh? because I am keeping my same gender. I'm not going to transition to anything after that.
Stop. No, I'm just saying though, like, when did gender reveals though become a thing? Because I honestly, like, I was trying to pinpoint this the other day because we have a lot of kids coming up in our family this next year, and some of them have done gender reveals, some of them have not, some of them, it's like I don't know, the whole rules of these gender reveals too, I think, are kind of evolving. But would you say it was kind of like Facebook and Instagram that kind of birthed most of this?
Oh, absolutely. And I would say it's not so much a generational thing as it is a personality thing.
I don't know. I mean, I don't want to say anything that will come back to me at the family dinner table.
Here's the thing. If you want to do a gender reveal party, you do a gender reveal party. That's great.
Yeah.
Right.
For me and Stephanie, that's not something we want to do, but for others, that might be what they want to do.
So when you found out the sex of your children, I mean, was it just calling up like your siblings or whatever, or dropping it in the family text thread?
Yeah, I think that's exactly what happened. Yeah, it's just like,
and that's what that's what you did with your girls too, Kenny.
Yeah.
See, and I think, I think I'd be kind of the same. Like, I get like the first one, right? But I don't know. I think, again, depends on the couple, depends on whatever. But it's just like, especially here in Utah, when you're on your like 6th or 7th kid, it's like, all right, as long as you have cake and ice cream for me, I'll come to your party. Like, it just,
I'll go to either party, right?
Yeah.
Stephanie and I have kind of done our own like little, just between the two of us. For Hazel, we didn't. It was our first kid, so we found out together. With the other two, one was kind of a emotional roller coaster that day anyway. So that was interesting. But we've had her just go out and buy either a Mountain Dew Voltage, or a Mountain Dew Spark. If it's a girl, for the Spark, because it's pinkish. And blue Voltage for boy.
That's such a Spencer thing.
I was gonna say, I'm like, I would not expect anything less, other than maybe for red spaghetti sauce. It's a girl. If it's if it's Alfredo with sausage, it's a boy.
If it's a boy, $1.50 combo. If it's a girl, I don't know.
There it is.
I'm not gonna go there.
There we go. Yeah.
I'm not gonna go.
All
there.
right.
Anyway,
we have a couple phone calls.
Speaking of gender reveals.
Oh, okay. Go on.
Hey guys, it's Annika. I thought that I should probably give my pod uncles an update. So I have a friend who's a boy, and I figured I should tell you guys about him. So I met him through a dating app. And he is super nice to me. He's very kind, treats me right. He's passed the shopping cart test 3 times. And I hate to break it to you, Kenny, I'm really sorry, but he hates the creepy pinky. I mean, it worked in the sense of when I tried to do it, he just grabbed my hand and said he'd rather hold my hand than hold pinkies. So, I mean, it got us to hold hands, but he won't hold my pinky. But I'm okay with it, so I can hold it better. But, yeah, so I think the only downside, though, is he's from Idaho. So, he's kind of weird. I'm just joking. He's a great guy. He's treated me the best I've ever been treated, and he treats me like a princess, and I really have no complaints about the guy. So I figured I should give my pop uncles an update, so there's your update. Anyway, bye guys.
So Annika, I just have to say this before Spencer goes off on some rant. Spencer only wishes that he was from Idaho, and that's what makes him weird.
That's not what I'm going to say. I know I'm weird. I'm from Utah. But that Idaho stock...
you wish you were from Rexburg. Let's be honest.
Yes. But that Idaho stock is the best stock you're going to get. My wife is from Idaho. Don't you dare say that that's why he's weird. He's weird because he's weird, and embrace the weird. I mean, Annika, him being your boyfriend is the worst kept secret since the body stashed in the Finley's basement. Yes, we know they're there, and we know what happened. But we love it. We embrace it. We're excited for you. And it sounds like the creepy pinky worked to its end.
Yeah,
means.
and here's the thing. Maybe you were a little confused, Annika. The creepy pinky or the creeping pinky is a channel to get to hold someone's hand. It's not about holding pinkies. That's a pinky swear. And we all know about those. But the pinky is meant to crawl over with the hand, kind of like a big old spider, and then hold the hand to be placed inside.
Are pinky swears things I need to talk to my cat bishop about?
Honestly, especially if you're pinky swearing with your cat. Oh, perfect timing for my cat. That was awesome.
Perfect. That was perfect.
Especially since we can't see you right now, Kent.
Hey guys, proud Disney mom here. I'm so excited to hear your whole Disneyland episode. Happy birthday, Disneyland! Happiest place on earth. But I have so much Disneyland trivia, which I'm sure we could just sit and go over, and I'm hoping that you guys already talk about everything that I had. But I did want to give a Disney tip because, as you guys know, being the big Disney nerd I am, I follow several Disney Facebook groups, and one of them is a tips and tricks. And this is the latest tips and tricks that I came across that is now my number one tip that I am going to give to everybody. And I'm going to read this verbatim because I don't want to mess this up. Do not, and I repeat, do not put your alcoholic beverages on the toilet behind you, do your business, flush, then pick up your drink and keep sipping. The water pressure is high, so toilet water will get in your drink, including said business. Edit, no, it wasn't me. A lady came up demanding a full refund because of this. So there's your latest tip. Disney pressure is apparently a lot higher than normal water pressure. Although my tip would actually be don't take an alcoholic beverage in the bathroom with you anyway, or any beverage for that matter, because gross. But there you go. So there's my newest tip that I now give to everybody that I come across is do not take your alcoholic beverages in the toilet and then flush and keep sipping. So anyway, again, thank you guys so much for doing all of this. I love all the Disneyland trivia. As you guys know, I'm getting so excited to go to Disney World to go see Proud Disney Daughter, and get this, Proud Disney Son is going with me as well. So this is going to be a great trip. So again, thank you for everything. Again, happy birthday, Disneyland. Love you so much. All right, have a good day. Bye.
Okay, Proud Disney family. I just got to say really quick, this is why I get a pickle, because it is wrapped. I can put it wherever I want, and it doesn't matter how high the water pressure is. I'm safe. You can do the same thing with the blue milk in the special canister.
No, don't bring anything.
Covered.
Don't bring a pickle in a bag. Don't bring a drink into the restroom.
It's wrapped. As we all learned in high school, if it's wrapped, it's safe.
You know, I just have to say,
take it easy.
whenever I think of Disney bathrooms, I will always go back to the one moment when I was in Galaxy's Edge.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the hand washing troughs that they have.
Yeah,
I saw a dude totally using that like it was the urinal.
Yeah, that's how it is in stadiums.
Exactly, and I'm both like grossed out and I'm laughing at the same time, and I can't blame this dude because, I mean, that's what they do in stadiums. That's you know, like when you're traveling outside of the US. And so I'm just laughing because I'm like, dude, if you just took a little bit of a right detour, the private urinals are right there. You know, we do things a little different.
No, that's on Disney. That's on Galaxy's Edge.
Oh, it totally is.
No, that is on Galaxy. It's poor design. On top of that, he may or may not have been following Tanya's advice and not bringing his alcoholic beverages into the bathroom. So he had to finish it before he went in. All 15 of them.
Maybe they were in the urinal because he's like, oh, it's a private, you know, alcoholic drink place where I can put these while I relieve myself at the trough over there.
It's protected.
Yeah. You know, I just have to say this though. I know that today the releasing of this episode is on Disneyland's birthday. We were planning a little bit more of a Disneyland-centric episode.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, obviously with the news and everything coming out with Richard and with other things, we kind of decided to switch things up a little bit. And I think we still want to do...
Pivot.
We still want to do, though, something Disney-centric like we did last year.
Right.
And I think we can, because I'm going to be going to Disneyland here in a couple of weeks. So maybe we can do something either before or after. And I don't know, maybe I can even do some video.
I also have my Disney cruise coming up soon.
Oh, yeah. True. Is that the end of this year?
October.
Oh, so jealous.
We should do a Disney wrap up.
We should. I don't know. I would love to hear other people's opinions on what kind of Disney, Disneyland, Disney World stuff you would like us to talk about. Because obviously, I mean, we've talked about on our bonus episode this past month, Tomorrowland, and how horrible, Spencer's take on Tomorrowland is.
He hadn't got to the good one.
You didn't get to my good take. You didn't get to my good take that involved actual Disney characters. Stephanie will back me up. Not just because she loves me. I had a real good take.
I don't think you had a good take.
Do you want to hear it? I'll give it to you now.
No, save it. We may have a sequel show.
Yeah, you know what? Willow's been saying that for years, and look how that turned out.
Oh gosh, no! But
just wait till the sequel to the other show comes out.
Oh gosh,
canceled.
I
deleted from existence.
I could only imagine what that would be like. I think that's all of the phone calls that we have for today's. But just guys, please call us, leave a message. Whether you want to talk about the Creeping Pinky, whether you want to talk about Disneyland, whether you want to give a shout out to somebody, tell us a story, whatever it is, we want to hear from you. So make sure you give us a call at 801-508-4989. Again, that number is 801-508-4989. So
perfect.
Yeah. Just give us a call.
All right.
I don't even know how to transition to whatever.
I have been for 10 minutes unable to hear most.
And my monitor just turned off.
I can see you.
No, like my monitor just straight up turned off.
Apparently Kenny can't hear us and Spencer can't see us.
Sometimes.
I am Helen Keller, I guess. So nobody can hear, nobody can see, but I'm just here alone in my thoughts. So this is probably a good place to end. So on behalf of Helen Keller, I'm ending the show. You've just listened to The Other Show, starring Kent Dunn, Josh Hansen, and Spencer Myers. The Other Show is produced by Kent Dunn, Josh Hansen, and Spencer Myers. Show design and audio editing is done by me, Josh Hansen, and sales manager is Spencer Myers. The Other Show is generously supported by our friends on Patreon. A huge thank you to our Friends with Benefits tier. These friends are contributing a minimum of $25 a month, which in return comes with some rather significant benefits, including the weekly off-the-cuff episodes of The Other Show, monthly bonus episodes, quarterly live Q&A shows, and exclusive swag and perks. A huge thank you to our favorite Brit, Jonathan Vaskar, the lovely and talented Mrs. Robinson, the one, the only Chris Anderson, Brandon from Popfly Cards, Lady Terry A. Finley, the proud Disney mom, Tanya Budge, the other Keith Brown, It's Rick, not Dick Smith, Dave, and of course, our newest friend with benefits, Melanie Milring. To support The Other Show on Patreon, visit patreon.com/The Other Show to join. Please rate, review, and subscribe to The Other Show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, or wherever podcasts are found. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and X. To better connect with us and other fans of The Other Show, join our Facebook group, The Other Group. For past episodes, links to our other shows, and to shop for show swag, visit our website at theother.show. And remember, when you're not listening to me here on The Other Show, you can hear me on my other show, The Party in the Back.
You can hear me on my other show, Bacon Cell.
On one. Okay, time for some late night Richard.